Good morning, everybody. The 14th of December, we've just announced the bottom third of the very deep hole that went down to 923.7 meters, hole 50, SDDSC0050 to be specific. We had big shoes to fill. We reported in the top 2/3 of the drill hole, many new veins, 8 new veins. It was over 300 meters that averaged 2.4 grams gold equivalent, and it really just blew the project open. This last 1/3, happily, I can say, has continued to deliver. We've seen very high grades. We've seen basically 4 new shoots, 3 of which contain very high grades, up to 95.6 grams per ton gold. So that is exceedingly encouraging. We've seen over a half a kilometre, 520.8 meters of mineralisation from the first intersection down to the last intersection. So that's quite staggering. Over half a kilometre. Just perhaps take a moment to think about where half a kilometre is from where you're sitting now, and it's a lot of mineralisation. The true thickness we're saying is about 60 to 70%. So we didn't drill down one mineralised structure. We drilled within the host position, but we drilled at a high angle to the veins that contain the grade. So overall, the hole continued. It's a fundamentally great hole for the project, a real game changer. It just continued. Great hole for Victoria, and really a great hole in the gold exploration space. So very excited. So a very good way to understand just what we've hit and what it means for the project, and just how significant it is at Sunday Creek and in the gold space, specifically in Victoria. We've got a graph here. On the X or horizontal axis, we've got drill hole intersection width. Down the Y-axis or the vertical axis, we've got drill hole depth. And the bubbles are sized. Smaller bubbles to bigger bubbles are sized by grade times width. So our peers are in orange here, and Sunday Creek is in blue. You can see some of the different areas. The green's Apollo, and this gold is Golden Dyke, and the red is Rising Sun. So results all across all our results, but with the highlights coming from across the field. You can see we're really doing things differently. Victoria's got big bubbles, but they're thinner. They're 5 to 10 meters thick on average. So big bubbles, but thin and high grade, and Victoria's known for that. Very few wider intersections, but you can start to see how we're getting wider intersections in that 30, 40 to a plus 100 meter thickness pretty consistently. And we were doing things that others haven't done before, really. So all these bubbles are pretty much, bar a few exceptions, above 200 meters. So this is all the drill hole data that came out of Victoria, the public domain, since Fosterville was really discovered and reinvigorated things here in 2015. So we're starting to go deeper below 200 meters where everybody else was, and we started to see mineralisation at 400 or 500 meters down hole. But just the significance of this next hole is just shown here. When bang, you can see that this hole 50 just went deeper and deeper and deeper, had some very good grades and widths, as shown in the pull out there, and really just essentially doubles what we'd found in the upper levels. So yeah, just a very exciting opportunity this has created. And of course, this is one hole across a field that we've drilled out to about 800 meters along strike on the surface, and only one hole going to these great depths, over 800 meters was the bottom mineralisation down hole depth. But remembering we've got a 10-kilometre field, 5.4 kilometres of old mine workings and old mining leases, of which we've only drilled that 800 metres. So many more dots to fill in on this chart, I hope and suspect, but you can see how hole 50 is really the game changer, has taken the project to another level. As any of you who've followed the Sunday Creek project and the Southern Cross Gold story over the last 6 to 12 months, you know that we're looking for epizonal deposits. These epizonal deposits are very different to what made Victoria famous in the 1800s. They were a very different style of deposit. These epizonal deposits are 60 to 70 million years later, form a lot higher depth, or much closer to surface, still 3 kilometres down, but geologists think that's quite shallow. And they've got some very special attributes. And what we saw at Fosterville is the telescoping from a gold antimony deposit near the surface, and as it got deeper, it lost the antimony, and the quartz veining became very massive, and they started to see gold and free gold only in these thick quartz carbonate veins with no antimony. Costerfield, with a little bit of a variation, is seeing that at depth today also. So it's that telescoping that happens due to temperature gradients through these deposits. So putting in a deep hole was really important for us to see just if the deposit, the project, was varying as it went to depth. So what we've got here is 2 different depths, somewhere around 620 metres in the top hole, and then looking down more like 750 metres or something, another 130 metres down hole. And you can see the variation. The thing that stands out is the very thin quartz carbonate veins with the stibnite, that grey mineral, that's the antimony mineral in the upper zone. And you know, there's some little stockworks and some very good grades in this system, you can see, that are marked there on the slide. Go to depth. Not only did we get the high grades and multiple zones of mineralisation and see that drill hole continuing down over 500 metres of mineralisation, but what is probably just as important, if not more so, this variation has started to occur. You can see the thicker quartz carbonate veins there, you know, close to 1 metre thickness. The grades are okay, they're not supersonic grades in this instance, but what this is telling us geologically is that the system is changing at depth. It's starting to mimic what we see in other epizonal deposits, dropping off antimony. There's no antimony of any note in that lower area, and that the assays are showing there. And it started to change in character from thin veins to these thicker veins, and this is starting to look and smell like some of our very well-known neighbours just up the road. So very important point to make. So what's next is always the question. You're only as good as your next or last drill hole, and anticipation around the next in this business. So people like to understand where we're going. Of course, hole 50 has opened up a huge part of this this prospect at depth. We will be putting, and are putting, we've got something like 9 holes, I think, in the assay lab or drilling at the moment, through 3 drill rigs turning. We'll be following up this hole 50 in lower zones. We're drilling some of the Apollo area, and then we're putting a big effort for the first time to start drilling under the most prolific mine on this whole 10 kilometres was the Golden Dyke, and we really haven't drilled under there. So we're making it bigger, we're extending it to depth, we're finding more of these shoots, and it will require a lot of drilling to pull all this together, but we're well and truly on the way. And just with those little windows to depth, we're certainly going to stand back and take a lot more bigger swings into this prospect as we start to learn more in the upper levels over the next 3 to 4 to 5 months. So I'd like to take this opportunity to thank all our stakeholders, all our staff, all our shareholders for your ongoing support of the company. Without everyone listed there and more. None of this could have happened over the last 6 months. I'm extremely proud of the team that we've got working with us, and we really look forward to fracking it and again and finding a lot more gold for all of us in the new year. So happy New Year, safe travels if you're traveling, and we look forward to touching base again in January.